Good morning. Hey, it's 10:30 on the East Coast here in Sellersville, Pennsylvania, and this is another curve flattening concert. I say hello to Rhonda Scott Merrick and Keith Shaw and Ken Nashif. We got people all over the place here. Rhonda is near Chicago. Keith is near Cleveland. Ken is up in the Pacific Northwest. And folks are checking in. I'd like to cloink hello. Ann Mintz is in Mount Airy, Pennsylvania. And got a bunch of requests for you today. I think I've figured out a way. Charlie the dog has figured out this methodology for hiding behind me during the concerts and making it hard to see him. But I think I've got a way of getting him. So watch this. If I do this, and then I do this, there he is. That's Charlie the dog in his usual hyperactive state during one of my concerts. So good morning to Charlie. I'll tell you a little story about Charlie in a little while. I'm going to tell you a couple stories, who knows? Or I might forget and not tell you any stories. But in the meantime, let me say hello to a few more people and then start playing some music for you. So I see Ann Mintz, Rhonda, Kathy Marzik, Warren and Janelle, Jim Greco on time, unbelievable. Heidi McClure and Jerry from Colorado. It's pretty early out there. Kate Petrella from Florida, and Kate's request is the first song of the day today. Bob McKenna and Lauren Payne has a request also. And Charlie Bryant, the Clown Prince of Raleigh World. Brian Kuiper from out there in Indiana, I do believe, and the lovely Karen Beatty, my dear friend and Janice's best friend ever. Linda Pasqua Blaze is here, and Michael Tierson and Warren Bendler, we said, and Deb Leiby Clark in Ambler, and Marjorie Sprouse, and David Arthur Radcliffe over there in the UK, and Mike Verbick, and quite a crowd, Owen O'Malley down there in South Jersey, and Carol Pred in Mentor, Ohio, and Steve Davidson in Germantown area. And like that. So I think we'll start in with a song. Now this song was a request from Kate and some others of you on the stream. Actually the last song today is kind of dedicated to this same theme, but Kate lives down in Florida and had a really damaging time with the hurricane down there. She fortunately is in good health, but her house not so much, and so she requested this tune. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just put that up just a little so you can see my guitar better. And so here it is. Here we go. Now life can throw you some curves, and things don't always turn out right. Everybody has the blues sometimes. Nobody wins every fight. So if you're feeling gloomy about all that you have lost, just be glad that you had it when it's time to pay the cost. Just repeat after me. My life is not a tragedy. Now maybe you've lost at love, or time took your loved ones away. Now even if you're the last man standing, you too will fall one day. Well, I started as a baby and I grew to be a man. If I end up as an old dog, I guess I'll understand. When I look into the mirror, the old man there will agree. My life is not a tragedy. I've been down so many pathways. You know, I've seen it all. I'm not gonna get all low down when my back's against the wall. So if hard times descend on you and dark clouds are overhead, you just better get on with living before they pronounce you dead. If you find that you're suffering from a bad case of the blues, you gotta get up in the morning and adjust your attitude. Just repeat after me. My life is not a tragedy. My life is not a tragedy. You know, we all have our tragic moments. I certainly have had mine, and I know you've had yours. But it's good to remember all the times in your past, which is probably most of your life, when your life was not a tragedy. My life is not a tragedy. Although day to day, you know, you never know what you're going to get. So I'm going to have another little taste of coffee here. We think about the Kokomo Kid when we drink our coffee and we go clink. And if y'all feel like it, you could go over on the Kokomo Kids page and say, "Thanks for the cloinks, Kokomo." If everybody did that this morning, he'd be going, "What the fuck is this about?" So next up, this was a request from Lauren Payne. And I always appreciate it. That's when you appreciate it twice. I always appreciate it when people request originals of mine. And there's, nothing more original than a song that's called Raleigh's Rag. So here it is. Trolley's Rag. Hopefully a little something to cheer you up. Now, David Arthur Radcliffe, he had requested a thing called the Cat's Rag, which I gather was written by Stefan Grossman, my old friend. And I went and listened to it, and it's nice. I didn't have time to learn it or anything, but maybe I'll figure it out for you. Ooh. So I'll do one more before I do the announcement part of the show. And first, let's see who else has shown up while I've been sawing away at the guitar. So Charlie Bryan, blah, 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 blah. Jeanette Pasco is here, and Donna Greenberg, and Debbie Lipstruer of Visayo. Debbie Lipstruer, I had a dream about you last night. And it was weird, but I will not tell you about it here. And Bob McKenna, I said hi to, and Mike Verbeek. Unknown user. Now, unknown user, if I'm correct, is Toby Simmons. I don't know why it says that for her. She must be coming in on a different Facebook account. So, Toby, if that's you, good morning. And Kate wrote something long here, which I do not have time to read at the moment. And Steve Edelman is here. Good, Steve, you have a request coming up here, too. And who am I missing? Judy Wong, my good friend Judy. I love you, Judy Wong. And Charlie Ortolani, one of the many Charlies after whom Charlie is named. So we could. It's we're like halfway through. We could have another Charlie sighting here if I go here and do this. There he is. He is as active as he was earlier. You can see that that little happy face. Eyes wide, and he must have scooched over because I don't have him as well as I did before. Let's see if we could do that. There, you can get the whole Charlie picture, mostly from the rear end on. And so Charlie Ortolani is one of the namesakes, and Charlie Bryant is one of the namesakes, and my friend Charles Williams is, and Cozy Sheridan's husband Charlie Koch is, and the late Charlie Hall, who ran Colorado Roots Music Camp. And so welcome to all the Charlies. And I see that my sister-in-law, Sue Lewandowski, is here. Hi, and Mia and Sue, so no Eli today, okay. And Bernd Bookman is here. Bernd had a birthday yesterday or the day before, I think. So happy birthday, Bernd. And there's even more comments down here. Aretta and Ron and Marjorie Sprouse and Mark Steele. Hey, Mark. And Ashling Bain. Good morning to you all. So this one, I'm not sure which Invisibles are here this morning, but one of the Invisibles is Invisibill Rubenstein. And he requested this song, and I don't care if he's here or not. I'll do it for him because he is one of my dearest old friends and has done in the great ledger up in the heavens of who owes who what. Bill Rubenstein, I am forever in his debt. So when we were young and when we were at Kent State, and we would all hop in Ohio in Bill Rubenstein's Volkswagen bus and tootle on to New Jersey where Bill lived at that time. And Bill's family would welcome us with open arms, and we would eat them out of house and home. And I had a reputation for my ability to put away large amounts of food at that time. And they never turned an eyebrow up at me. They were always wonderful. And then in later years, when Jan and I would go up to Sam W., we always would stay at Bill and Judy's house, Bill's wife. And they were just consummate hosts. And Bill loves to cook. He's a great cook. So, Bill, if you're out there, I hope you enjoy this. And and Bill is a very competent guitar player in his own right. He doesn't like to play out in public, I don't think. But he's been playing a long time, and he's worked hard at it, and he's gotten very, very good. So, Norman Blake song here. Billy Gray rode into Gantry back in '83. There he met young Sarah McCrae, that wild rose of morning, pale flower of dawning, the herald of springtime in his young life that day. Sarah, she could not see the daylight of reality. In her young eyes, Billy bore not a flaw. Knowing not her chosen one was a hired gun, wanted in Kansas City by the law. Now then one day a tall man came riding across the Badlands that lay to the north of New Mexico. And he was understood to say he was looking for Bill Gray, a ruthless man and a dangerous outlaw. When the deadly news came creeping to Billy fair sleeping there in the Clarendon Bar and Hotel, he ran towards the old church to lay on the outskirts, thinking he'd climb to that old steeple bell. But a rifle ball came flying, face down he lay dying, there in the dust of the road where he fell. And Sarah, she ran to him, just cursing the lawman, accepting no reason, knowing he was killed. Now Sarah still lives in that white frame house where she met Billy these 40 years ago. And the wild rose morning has faded with the dawning of each day of sorrow that the long years have sown. And written on a stone where the dusty winds have long blown, these 18 words to a passing world say: true love knows no season, no rhyme nor no reason, injustice is cold as the Granger County clay. Yes, true love knows no season, no rhyme nor no reason, justice is cold as the Granger County clay. Billy Gray by Norman Blake. And that little fiddle tune on the end there is The Minstrel Boy to the Wars Has Gone. And I got that idea from my friend Beppe Gambetta, the idea of singing a song and flat picking, and then at the end of it, just taking a nice fiddle tune that didn't necessarily have anything to do with the song and just appending it on there. I heard Beppe do that a couple times. And that song, that tune, The Minstrel Boy, just seems to pop right in there real nicely. So I do that. I saw, let me see, where's my thing? There it is. Mike Miller is here, and I saw Eric Eugene Cole. Hey, Eric, it's good to see you. He's on YouTube. And am I missing anybody else here? I think I got pretty much everybody who I could see. Now, as you know, some of you I cannot see. And they are called the Invisibles because they don't show up on the software I use during the stream. And those include Bill Rubenstein, Invisible as we call him, Joel Biget over in France, Mario Prue, who built my main guitars, which are, of course, based on this L00, but hot-rodded in typical Mario style, and Mike Stillman. And then on the female side of the aisle, we have Judith Fox, Kit Serikaku, who is probably sleeping on Oahu right now, and Kate Mack and Linda Worster. So hello to all you Invisibles, and Kathy Craw is here. She is not invisible, and she is in Canada. Another old friend from Sam W. And so announcements. I did the Invisibles. There's always that PayPal link right there if you'd like to contribute to the Charlie the Dog. We'll pull Charlie up here while we do this. To the Charlie the Dog. Well, I think I have to leave it this way if I do that. Here he is. His head is dropping off the end of the love seat. So the Charlie the Dog Dog Biscuit Fund, that's Venmo or PayPal is usable for that. I want to remind you, if you're in the Philly area, that on the 19th of November, myself and Ken Ulancy, who came and played sax with me on Wednesday, will be playing at a benefit for the Abington Friends Quaker meeting, and they're trying to raise money to make all of their facilities handicapped accessible. And that should be a nice concert. There's a couple other people playing. Joseph Arnold, who is a great violinist, and Smilin' Ed, who's a great banjo player. So, and we'll each do a little set. I'll probably play some stuff with Kenny, and he'll play stuff with me. And I was going to tell you a little bit about, in the mornings, Charlie and I sit here, and I have my cereal, and Charlie can't have any of my cereal because it's got raisins in it. Raisins are not good for dogs. But I also, I really love sourdough bread. And so usually I'll make a couple pieces of sourdough toast, and Charlie gets little bits of the crust, not too buttery because we don't want him to have too much fat in his diet. But he's happy to like lay down. I was trained long ago to teach your dog to beg by lying down. So that way your dog can't stick their nose on your plate or on your knee or anything. They have to be lying down to get anything. And then they're happy, you're happy, and like that. So we do that. But thinking about how much I love sourdough bread took me back to thinking about the, that's Charlie, as active as Charlie is, you probably don't need to watch him for all that long. Thinking back on that took me back to in the mid-'70s, I lived in San Francisco from 1973 to 1976. And I lived at between 3rd and 4th on Geary in the Richmond district, if any of you know the city out there. And right around the corner from me, on 3rd, between Geary and Clement Streets, was the Larabaroo Bakery, the sourdough bakery. And they were a big industrial bakery that made sourdough that went all over San Francisco. And San Francisco's famous for sourdough bread, largely because of the Laraburu bakery. And so I used to wake up in the morning, every morning pretty much, and you would just smell this wonderful sourdough bread. And sometimes, being young hippies at the time, we might sneak around the corner to where all the loaves of bread were sitting on racks outside cooling, and we might pinch a loaf once in a while because we were, we weren't that rich. And I just thought about it, so I looked it up on YouTube. On Facebook. On Google. That's the one. And I'll probably post something about it later today, or share a post, because there's a woman who's made a documentary about it. And I guess they went out of business in the late 70s. But it's one of the greatest sense memories of the years I lived in San Francisco is that smell every morning of this wonderful, freshly baked sourdough bread. So just thought I'd share that with you. Charlie has been really doing well. He's been a very good dog. And we've gone, I'll probably write about it, but we've gone to, most of the time when we're on our walks in the park, if there's somebody coming the other way and I want to make sure he doesn't leap up and French kiss them, which is his wont, I would walk him like 3 feet off the path and have him sit. And in the last 3 or 4 days, we've graduated to getting him to look at me, and we just walk right by. They walk one way and we walk the other, and he keeps eye contact with me, and he does not even think about French kisses. We might be thinking about French kisses, but he doesn't act on it. So Charlie is doing good. He still has a ways to go, but he's doing pretty darn good. And that's, I think I've made all my announcements for today. I am on right now. I will be on tomorrow, Monday, with more or less of a Halloween show, a special Halloween show. I will not be in costume. You can imagine that I have a little lightning bolt here and I'm wearing a cape and I'm Harry Potter, aging, the 73-year-old Harry Potter. But I will not wear a costume, but I will sing some eerie songs of one sort or another. And Tuesday, Cozy and Charlie are still on the road. They aren't going to be back until the 15th, I think. Tuesday the 15th, they'll be doing their concert again. And then Wednesday, I'll be back at 3, and by then, I might know what to tell you about the rest of the week. I did go and listen to Dakota Dave. I haven't had a chance to in a while, but I listened to him yesterday, and as always, he's a joy to listen to. What a great guitar player. So Dakota Dave usually does Guitar Day on Saturdays at 11 o'clock Eastern. He's in Central Time, so it's 10 for him. Carol Sherman is here. Hi, Carol. Carol's another Winfield buddy. And she says, sourdough bread. Yep, I'm down with that. So next up, this is a request from Slim Edelman, and he requested it last week, and I said, I just did it the week before, and he said, it doesn't matter. I want to hear it again. So I didn't do it last week, but I'll do it this week because it's another original of mine, and I love it, and it's named after my dear friend Ann Mintz, who I also love, so it's just the perfect thing. So this is Salvo and Ann Mintz. Salvo and Ann Mintz. And the salvo, of course, in that song refers to Salvo Mantovano, the fictional detective, one of Italy's most favorite detectives, I think, written by Andreas Camilleri, who is now in his 90s, and I think he might still be writing. He's still banging away at it out there. So next up, I have my request. I get to choose one too. And I was thinking about this song because I learned this song. Well, first of all, I'll tell you that I had this discussion with some friends online the other night about James Taylor's guitar style. And, to me, as far as guys who aren't mainly guitarists, like they're mainly songwriters, but who can just sit down with just one man, one guitar, which has always been my favorite. And not counting Bert Jansch, who just could do everything. But as far as guys who can just sit down and make beautiful music with the guitar while they sing you their original songs, there's nobody who does it better than James Taylor and Jackson Browne. And this discussion was about James Taylor and his guitar style. And I remembered that I had watched an Audible presentation called Break Shot, which is James Taylor telling about the first 21 years of his life. And in it, he talks about learning the guitar and said that he learned by, in the high school he went to, they had to go to chapel and they would play these hymns. And then he would go back to his room and try and figure out the hymns on the guitar. And then he played this hymn. It turned out that it was, I didn't know the name of it or anything, but I recognized it because it was part of the incidental music in the movie Chariots of Fire. And there's a long story that I won't go into behind that. But anyhow, so I had to learn it too. But so I thank James Taylor for reminding me of that song. And I thank the people who made Chariots of Fire, which if you never saw that movie, or even if you saw it a long time ago, go back and watch it again. It's really a lovely film, really an amazing movie. Very moving. So, but this is actually called Jerusalem, and was written by Sir Hugh Perry as an accompaniment to a William Blake poem. Jerusalem by Sir Hugh Perry. Okay, I see some comments here. Let me just think. Look, I'll take a little time. So Steve Davidson said something about I don't know who he's responding to, both of them, Lightfoot and Bach. So Gordon Lightfoot, if you're talking about him as a guitar player, without Red Shea, he's just a strummer. Gordon Bach was a great guitar player. I got to meet him a few years ago. In an odd situation where he came to play in Percy, and he had a horrible cold and was having a really hard time. And they called me up and said, hey, could you come in and just do kind of a little guest set in the middle so Gordon could have a little rest? So I got to be the ersatz Gordon Bach. I didn't do any Gordon Bach songs, though, because I don't know any. Paul Simon's guitar playing, I don't think it's underappreciated, Judy. It's great. He is a really good guitarist, too. He's in that same category to me. You're right. I shouldn't overlook him. And it's worth mentioning that both James Taylor and Paul Simon, they went back. I know for a fact that Paul Simon went and studied with, I'm forgetting the guy's name right now, but he lived down near Chapel Hill near the end of his life. He was a jazz guitarist. And Paul Simon went back and studied with him. And I think James Taylor, you get to those albums like the album that has Mexico on it. I forget what it was called, Gorilla, I think. And you start hearing these much more complex chord progressions. And you know that he did some homework, that he wasn't just playing, anymore. So anyhow. But I digress. So I've kept you here a long time, and as was my secret plan. This last song today is written by my dear friend Alex Bevan, who also is famed in our little circle for having said, if you get cranky, take a nap. And so it's very fitting that we might be closing with a song of his, and this one's for Amy Roach. And Amy also lives down in Florida, and she requested this. She didn't say anything about the situation there, but I assume that the themes of hope and My Life Is Not a Tragedy are particularly meaningful to people who live down in Florida right now and who've sustained great losses physically and hopefully not personally. Howard Morgan. Thanks, David Irwin. Howard Morgan is the guy who Paul Simon studied with. In the space in the middle of the old sidewalk, there was grace from a child with a chip of chalk. Only 4 letters were all she wrote, just one word, and that word was hope. The backstory's not hard to understand. Daddy drives a delivery van. Mama, she works and prays for masks. It's all about give and not about ask. In the space in the middle of the old sidewalk, there was grace from a child with a chip of chalk. Only 4 letters were all she wrote, just one word, and that word was hope. Now if you don't get it, I'll say it slow. It's not about the what or the who that you know. Our political minds, posture and fuss. It's not about them, it's all about us. In the space in the middle of the old sidewalk, there was grace from a child with a chip of chalk. Only 4 letters were all she wrote. Just one word, and that word was hope. It's the old and the homeless, the shut-in crowd, the deplorables, the adorables, and the talk's too loud. This wound will heal, it will leave a scar. It's you, it's me, it's who we are. In the space in the middle of the old sidewalk, there was grace from a child with a chip of chalk. Only 4 letters were all she wrote. Just one word, and that word was hope. Be happy, be healthy, be brave, and be calm. Be kind, it's a snap. And if you get cranky, take a nap. I see my friend Kathy Wingard is here, and she might like to see Charlie the dog, because Kathy and I are undergoing similar training issues. So Charlie is, oh, he turned around. Wait a second here. Charlie is cranky and taking a nap, apparently. Hey, buddy. Just want to say hello to the folks on TV or on the. No, okay. So that's the. You almost went to the classic Charlie sleeping position. And some other folks had just checked in at the end here. Jim Stetson, hello to you. And let's see who else. Tom Maynard and Peggy Burnett Roberts. Hi, you guys. I'm glad you guys made it in. And Michael Miller, I think I said hi to. So Kathy Wingard, in addition to being a fellow dog dealer with, is one of America's great guitar builders. Her stuff is a little above my pay grade, I think, but but she makes beautiful instruments, which I got to see when she was at Swannanoa when I was there. So you might go check her out. Okay, thanks for joining me. I will hope to see you guys tomorrow at 3 with whatever I cobble together into a Halloween show. And in the meantime, here's to you.